Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And it is our Sunday gaming chat. So, I hope everyone's doing well. See if we get anybody in here anytime soon. Sometimes we have people waiting. Not today. We got a couple of specific things to talk about today. But other than that, it'll just be a good old-fashioned free-for-all here. Let's do this, because I know one thing I definitely want to talk about in the gaming news realm. But let's see if there's anything else to add to it. Okay, we'll just put that aside. See if we get anybody in here. We're going to talk about these today again. I know I talked about them before, but we're going to talk about these because these are in the news now. And hello, Chupa. And we're going to unbox, well, not necessarily unbox, but I mean, I'm going to show the contents of the old Return to Tomb of Horrors here. Don't think I've done that one yet. Hello, Mistra. How are you? How are things over in Norway? And more importantly, how are your nerves with what's happening in Ukraine? Because I really hadn't given it that much thought, but apparently, because one of my people in my tabletop gamer group here has family in Finland, and they're worried. So I figure Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, that's I guess fairly close if old Putin decides he doesn't want to stop with Ukraine. So hopefully it doesn't escalate, but we'll have to see. Oh, Mike's here too. Hey, Mike. So we had our first session back at the table since the Omicron spike that went apeshit. Gotcha. And we had myself and 3 other players. Yes, and then the DM. Jonathan is DMing, and again, he's doing the old school essentials rule set in the Dalmanwood campaign. And I'll do a separate video, obviously, for the campaign update, but it was this particular campaign, let's just say it is, best word to use is it's disturbing, the content. The DM did give us, first time in my 40 plus years of gaming that I've ever had a DM say, trigger warning for this type of content, and it's like, okay, never had that happen before, but when I do the campaign update, you guys will get more detail about it. But and I already tweeted out about this that night that we lost another player character, our Grimalkin, the feline cat race player character. Her character was killed. So that makes 2. I've lost 1, and now Stesha, who played the Grimalkin, she's lost a character and had to roll a new character. So it was a pretty interesting session. So, but we'll get into that when I do the other video for the campaign update. So we had that happen. We're going to talk about this stuff here. I don't know if you guys saw the news that these are what we used to call the old gold box games, the D&D gold box computer games from the 80s. And I've talked about these before, but it was just announced that these are all coming to Steam. Now, up until now, it's later this month, I think, and like 2 weeks from now. And there's going to be different collections. Like there's the Forgotten Realms collection #1, the Forgotten Realms collection #2. Then there's the Ravenloft collection and the Dark Sun collection. And apparently there's going to be a special launcher just for these because to play them through like good old games, GOG, you have to use DOSBox, and it works, but it can be temperamental and so forth. So there's going to be supposedly a standalone launcher for these on Steam just to run these. No pricing yet. They are on Steam showing that they're going to release in whatever it is, 2 weeks or whatever. And I'll probably get them. I mean, I have them. Some of them I have in this format, which was the IBM. And then if they had an orange sticker, they were for Commodore 64. Some of these games I bought them on the Commodore 64, and then I bought them again on IBM because I switched from Commodore to IBM at a certain point. And then I have them on GOG. And now I'll probably have them on Steam, especially if they have a launcher that works better than DOSBox, emulator, whatever you want to call it, launcher, emulator, whatever it's going to end up being. I'll probably end up getting them on Steam because they're just the nostalgia, and to me they hold up, even though the graphics is just 8-bit graphics and all that stuff. It for me it still holds up. I mean, it's still fun to go in there and go dungeon crawling in these games and stuff like that. So yeah, I never thought that these would be back in the news again, but there we are. So and then considering I've got Mistra in here, I am continuing to watch The Expanse. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit, and I'm also separately watching DS9. I'm trying to get all of these sci-fi series knocked out to get up to speed. I need to get caught up with Battlestar. Well, not caught up, but I need to get further into Battlestar Galactica, the series. Where I left off on Battlestar is right when they're right in the middle of this the predicament where they're having to do light speed, jump to light speed jumps every 88 seconds, because they're having I think it's the Cylons that are showing up every 88 seconds, and then they're having to jump, and they're having to stay awake or whatever. As a result, they've been up for who knows how long. That's where I'm at on Battlestar. So I've got like Battlestar, The Expanse, and Deep Space Nine that I'm trying to shuffle to get through all of them. I have not started Vox Machina yet because between doing YouTube, gaming, trying to watch those other shows, I still want to start reading my book, my Elric book. Yeah, and then I take care of the house now. I do all the stuff around the house. I do all the shopping and the chores and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm busier now than when I was working. I'm retired and I'm busier now, so I'm doing what I can. So I probably watch too much TikTok. Probably should cut down on the old TikTok videos, but I learn a lot of good stuff on TikTok. People have there's a stereotype about TikTok that it's just teenagers doing stupid videos, and there is a certain amount of that, but I'll get to your question in just a second, mister. There's a certain amount of that, but I'm to the point now where I have found the creators that I like. I don't even look at my For You page, pretty much. I just go to whatever I'm following, and I just watch the creators that I have on there, and I learn all kinds of stuff. There's scientists on there. There's chefs. There's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I got to cut down on that though. I luckily I haven't done the Facebook video thing because I got some friends that send me some really stupid ass shit on Facebook. So I pretty much they like they broke my habit right away because I'm like, This is some stupid shit here. I'm not watching any more Facebook stuff." So I don't have that habit, thank God. But Mister says, where have you left off on The Expanse, and what do you think of James Holden? I think the actor playing the character is really good. So the character of Holden is growing on me. We are going to talk spoilers here, I'm guessing, at some point here. And I can't think of his name. The cop. I never really liked that character. So now, and I don't know. I have no idea where it's going from there, but I'm past the point with his character, the climactic point with his character at this point. I'm still on season 2. No idea. I'm assuming that character is gone. Even though we didn't actually see, anything happen other than we know there was a nuke involved and we knew they went into a planet and all that. I'm assuming there's could be some way that they survived or something because of the proto protein or whatever it is. So why can't I can't think of the cop's name. You'll tell me. Anyway, I never really liked that character for some reason. There's something about him that just rubbed me raw. So I don't know. Proto molecules. That's it. But the name of the cop, the hell's his name? Anyway, he kind of rubbed me wrong and all that. Now, I do think that the way they did that, his climactic end, that just shows how memorable of a character he is. We both forgot his name. Anyway, he, hello, Anthony. The climactic end that they showed, to me, left it, especially with the way Julie was or whatever, the state she was in, and the proto-molecule and all that stuff, it left it open as far as I was concerned. So I have expectations that it could go anywhere. But anyway, that's where I'm at, to answer your question, mister. That big event has happened, and now there are rogue nukes that were launched because they launched a shit ton of nukes at Eros, and Eros changed course, of course, and the nukes went, and then they had to send the what do you call it, the kill switch stuff to abort them. But there was like 30 of them that didn't get the signal, so there's like 30 rogue nukes just hurtling through space now. That's exactly where I'm at. So yeah, that's where I left off. And on Deep Space Nine, I am where Odo, the character Odo, is learning that he's what's known as a changeling, because someone's using that term now, and that there's apparently some of his type, his race, some of his people, somewhere out there in space, because this other guy, Miller, that's it. There you go. Yep, Miller. So that's where I'm at with that. Odo has found out that, yeah, there's more changelings, and he got that necklace that has the little changeling in it, that's where I'm at on Deep Space Nine. So, yeah. So that's where I'm at on those. And then another one that I need to get caught up is Lost in the was it Netflix Lost in Space, the newer Lost in Space. I watched the first 2 seasons when they were out, and now I think it's season 3, and I haven't even started that. So I've got that Vox Machina, um, all kinds of shit. His race is out there in the expanse. To see what, yeah, I see what you did. So, so yeah, I'm trying to get caught up on all that stuff, and then the gaming, of course, and uh, I'm thinking of I don't want to spend full price for um, Elden Ring, but I might end up because I'm really getting the urge to play it. So, um, Chuba says I'm a big Star Trek fan, but never cared for DS9 until the Dominion War starts. So, we had this conversation at the gaming table over here on Friday. A couple people at the table are big DS9 fans, saying that it's the best of all the series or whatever. I'm kind of at this point. I mean, it's still fairly early on. Um, I'm kind of mixed on DS9. Um, I like some of the characters, um, but there's characters I don't like. Um, uh, so yeah, um, yeah. The major I like. The commander I'm kind of I like Odo. I like Odo because I'm an old security guy. That's what I did. I did for 20 years. I was in private security and I ended up being a security director. I was actually a branch manager at one point, but I was also a security director at a couple of high-rise buildings in California. And so when he is conducting himself as a security director, I'm like, he's the way a security director is supposed to be. He's hardcore. He doesn't he doesn't take he takes the most precautions possible all the time. And of course, everybody's always trying to downplay it and say, "Oh no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that." And he's like, "No, we do need to do that." So, um, AJ the shapeshifter, yeah. And so Odo is probably my favorite character. But uh, let's see. I loved Voyager as well. So Voyager's next on the list. I think I asked you guys when I got done with Next Generation. I was like, do I go DS9 or do I go Voyager? And you guys, I think the vote was DS9. So yeah, Voyager's next. Um, so that's it on that stuff. Let's see. Did I miss anybody here? Checked in. Chupa says a little too soap opera-ish. I don't know that I've encountered that much in of the soap opera stuff. But I can see it definitely going that direction. So, um, yeah, the I can definitely see that. So it might get if it gets worse. Yeah, I might be in the same boat with you, Chupa. Um, that if it gets into a whole lot of relationship stuff and all that stuff, you know. But we'll see. You guys want me to go through this guy? You guys want to see what's in here? This is the Return to Tomb of Horrors, the second edition tome that came out. There was this one. I already went through the Rod of 7 Parts, and this is another in that series of tomes. And I'm assuming that everybody in the few of you that are in here, most of you have probably heard of the Tomb of Horrors if you've ever played D&D. Mister, I thought of you as a big romantic novel fan. No, yeah, that's not even my wife is a big romantic novel fan. She's much more into like the romantic dramas on TV and that stuff, but yeah, that's not my thing. So anyway, the original Tomb of Horrors is considered like the most deadly dungeon ever created, and it was created by Gary Gygax himself. And it's legendary. If you've never played through it, I certainly won't spoil anything for you. Um, this comes in this box. If you get this, if you get the Return to Tomb of Horrors box set, the second edition, uh, you get a reprint. This is a reprint of the original Tomb of Horrors. And that now I have a couple of these originals, but this is just a reprint that comes in this box. But it's a nice reprint. I mean, so, and again, I'm not going to show you guys too many pictures because that would all be spoilers. So, but nevertheless, there's the back cover. I always like this picture here. You know, that's basically exactly what you imagine when you think of, you know, a group of adventurers going down a hallway in a dungeon, you know. So always like that. That box set is $196 at the moment. Wow. Well, this one's in, I mean, it's not shrink wrapped, but other than that, it's in mint condition. So, and there's the book. And this is 160 pages. Wow, that's a cool back illustration there. That's nice. You can probably find it cheaper on eBay. There's sometimes on Amazon that you can get lucky and find something cheaper, but generally you're going to find it for a cheaper price, depending upon what condition you're willing to go with on eBay. This one I bought brand new back when it came out. I don't know what I paid. Whatever the cover is on the box is what I paid. So, and then you get little handouts. Like this is a handout of this journal that you find. So they, the Logic Only Zone says, "Cool room, thank you." I am planning on, if you guys noticed, all the boxes were gone from the project of doing all the bagging and boarding and all that. So this coming up week, I'm probably going to do another full tour of the room. Now that I've got that stuff out of the way, so that's on the to-do list. But anyway, yeah, this is the Journal of the Tomb. That's a handout that goes to the players, and then there's a whole bunch of these. They have colored illustrations and stuff like that. That either get shown to the players or get handed out. There's even some pre-generated characters here that they have. They're included. There is 2 other books. They're booklets. There's a map and monsters book, just for the maps and monsters. And there are even, there's full color illustrations inside this. Winter White. That's pretty cool. There's even a little RPGA advertisement in here, but they did it as, this was an old comic strip that they had in, I think it was either Dragon or Dungeon, called Knights of the Dinner Table. So they actually did it as a little comic strip here, it's just an ad, but that's in here. And then finally, there's a whole book of illustrations that's in here as well. I don't know if any of this is color. I don't think it is. No, this is all black and white. But I don't know that I want to show too many of these. These would probably be spoilers. This probably isn't spoilers. This is just random creatures, it looks like. But this is definitely a cool item, especially if you were a fan of the original. Let me see if I can see what the original price was on this. So the original price was $29.95, and That's what I bought it for. Um, and now, what was he saying? It's almost $200 or something like that. Chupa says, I am bringing my 3.5 group through Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil at the moment. Nice. I have that book, The Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil. So that is that book. I'll put this stuff away real quick. There was another, by the way, this is the original, what they call the monochrome cover to the original Tomb of Horrors. There was later a full color, tricolor, whatever they want to call it, one with a green cover. That would be the second version. This is the original version. So there we go. Yeah, everything went. Chupa says cheapest on eBay is 166 at this point, and that one probably isn't complete. Sometimes the cheaper ones you'll find, if you read the fine print, it'll say something's missing. Either one of the books is missing, or one of the handouts, or something. But prices for all this out of print stuff have just skyrocketed. They went ape shit and that's because the popularity of D&D as a whole went up so much with 5th edition and um, Critical Role and all that, and all the celebrities that play. And so, other than that, let's check out and see if there's any other gaming news to talk about. Ubisoft had a cybersecurity incident. It says last week shows no evidence of a data breach. Well, that's good. Okay, so Halo games do not run on Steam Deck. So if anybody was thinking of getting a Steam Deck and you're a Halo fan, it says they do not run on Steam Deck. See if there's anything else to talk about here. So on the cybersecurity stuff, I'm somewhat fortunate in the fact that I have a very good friend that I was in the Army with, who has his own cybersecurity company. I won't say his name because I don't know that he wants that discussed in an open forum. But he's one of the top cybersecurity experts in the world. And he actually goes around to different cybersecurity like symposiums and conventions and stuff, and he gives speeches about it and all that. He actually created a couple companies that ended up getting bought out by bigger companies, and now he's just an independent. He does it as an independent contractor. He gets hired by companies to just go in when they have a problem and try to fix it. So I'm lucky from that standpoint. He knows what I do. He knows that I'm retired now, and I do YouTube, and I'm a huge gamer, and all that stuff. I'm not a huge YouTuber, but as far as my hobby goes, that's what I do. I mean, I'm a gamer, and he knows that, and he knows that that I'm online. My presence online is extensive. I have all different social media and all that stuff. So he will send me a text or a DM if something he thinks that could be a problem. Like if he saw that there was, let's say, for instance, there was a data breach with Steam or something like that. If that was to happen, I would probably hear it from him first before it ever even made the news, because he has all his back channel stuff that goes 24/7 of all that type of stuff. So he would probably give me a heads up. There was one time long years ago, I had an account that got hacked. The only way I found out was I got a DM from him saying, "Hey, your account has been hacked on this XYZ thing." And he goes, and he was even able to tell me who accessed my account, where they lived, their phone number. He had all their information. And he's like, well, you could call him and say, you know, and confront him about it and everything. He goes, that's up to you. And I chose not to. But so I'm fortunate from that standpoint. So if I ever get a heads up from my buddy about a data breach, and I think that uh, any other fellow gamers might, you know, need to know that information, I will go do a live, even if I'm not home. I'll just get on my phone as a live, or I'll tweet it out and I'll just say, just FYI. Um, so even before, maybe hopefully it makes the news and it gets big, I can hopefully give people a heads up. And that's just because I'm lucky enough to have him as a friend. So anyway, um, so this Ubisoft thing, he didn't even send me a message about that, and it says here it shows no evidence of a data breach, and that's probably why, because he probably realized that there was nothing from a consumer standpoint for us to worry about. So, I enjoy some Ubisoft games. AC Odyssey was great. My only problem with now, Mister, do you play Assassin's Creed and all that? Do you play that on a console or do you play it on your computer? Because the original Assassin's Creed, I enjoyed the graphics, I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed a lot about it, but it was a console port. Now, and I didn't like the controllers. I didn't like the way the controls, especially on keyboard and mouse and all that. I didn't care for that. Um, and hey, Sean, and so I guess my question is, with the later versions of all the different games in the Assassin's Creed franchise, did they ever make it more user friendly for mouse and keyboard, or is it always the same type of port where you really need to use a controller, even though if you're on the computer, you still want to hook up a controller or something? So you do it on PS4, okay? So yeah, if anybody knows, because I've been told that there's a few Assassin's Creed titles that are really good. Was it Valhalla? Was that the last one? Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I heard that one was good. Odyssey. Was it Black Flag? Um, but I'm wary because of the whole console port thing and having to use controllers. Bipedal Species says, I use my Xbox controller on PC, and I think you can use a PS2 controller as well. So I don't have it handy. I don't even know where I put it. I have a SteelSeries controller that I use, and it's basically like an Xbox controller. But I do, when I need to use a controller on a PC game, that's what I use. I use my SteelSeries one. So I can give it another shot and see if it's just a matter of breaking old habits. The old habits of mouse and keyboard is comfortable, controller isn't necessarily comfortable. I did on console, the Uncharted series. I love that. So I do have some, familiarity using the controller, on a regular basis. And Uncharted, that was my PS3. I seem to not have too many problems with a controller on that. But when it comes to doing it on a PC, because it's a port, to me it just it doesn't seem to work as well for me. So it just could be that I'm just too used to mouse and keyboard too. So let's see if there's any other gaming news to talk about. While I'm looking here, has anybody seen The Batman yet, the movie? I have not. But I've seen a lot of mixed reactions. So I'm not seeing any other gaming news of note. This is interesting. Russia reportedly legalizes piracy of games, movies, and more. They're doing it as a response to sanctions from Western countries. Wow, that's an interesting take. Um, so I guess that they're because you have these companies that are all like software companies. You had Microsoft and all these different ones. I think Activision Blizzard did it. Ubisoft, I think they all pulled out of selling their games or even allowing access to their games in Russia. And it's so what they're doing, the government is basically saying it says Russia is reportedly easing its copyright laws to offset sanctions imposed by Western nations in response to its invasion of Ukraine. In doing so, it effectively legalizes piracy of games, movies, TV shows, and more. Um, yeah, that's wild. I didn't see that happening. Um, Bipedal says PS2 adapters have been heavily modded. In the last few years, I even use it on my RC stuff. Okay. Sean says if you liked Christian Bale series and the Arkham series, you'll really like. Really? Okay. Well, I really liked um, the Christian Bale trilogy, so I'll give it a shot. Mister says not sure. And this is in response to this Russia story here. Not sure that will change anything in terms of consumer ends. People get away with piracy at a way higher rate than anyone gets punished. That's a very true statement that you just made. Um, I think this is more uh, posturing on the part of the Russian government to try and say, you guys want to sanction us? We can fight back too. We have ways of fighting back too. We're gonna make this easier. To me it's like it's a it's a feeble attempt to try and do something to fight back against the sanctions. It's more symbolic than anything. I just didn't see that coming. It just kind of caught me off guard um, that would be a thing. But it even says Twitch suspended payments to Russian streamers. So yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. See, that kind of stuff, I don't know if I agree with that because uh, the average Russian streamer who's just streaming video games or whatever over there, um, he or she has no control over what the government or Putin or the army or any of that shit's doing, and indirectly they're getting punished. Um, like this, where they're not going to make payments to this streamer, or any streamers, I should say, and uh, that just hurts the Russian populace. And I know the bigger picture is, well, if collectively of all these sanctions put enough pressure on um, the citizens will do something to rise up to. I don't know that they're in the position to do anything, and I don't know. I've seen the pictures of them of the Russian, whether it's the police or the military, going down the street and taking people's phones out of their hands and scrolling through, looking to see if they're like using social media that they're not supposed to, because that's all been outlawed or whatever. I mean, in that kind of environment, I don't know there's anything that the average citizens are going to be able to do. So all you're really doing is just punishing them, right? But uh, you're absolutely right. But the Russians, the people, are afraid that if they speak out, that they're going to get thrown in the gulag. So when somebody like Twitch says, "Oh, we're not even going to pay the streamers that are in Russia," um, you know, they might just be hurting some folks that could use the money, that don't really have any control over anything. So I understand the bigger idea is, that you sanction the people to where they put enough pressure on their government, but I don't know that in in Russia they have that option. It would take a full revolution. They would have to go into full revolution. The people would all have to rise up and, as a revolution, take over the government. the likelihood of that happening, I don't. Yeah, that's like spitting into the wind, you know. But it's not to say it couldn't happen, But yeah, yeah, exactly. In a police state, that option is null and void, short of a full revolution. That's the only thing that if the only option that the people themselves would have on the table is for them to revolt collectively, like all the people just revolt. But that would be, yeah, that would be bad. So, um, anyway, let's see if there's any. I don't think there's any other news stories of note in gaming. Um, a Skyrim fan built a Whiterun uh, in Sims 4. He made a complete version of the city of Whiterun in the Sims 4. That's kind of cool. I love the creativity of people when it comes to that kind of stuff. Let's see, what's the date on this article? That's yesterday. So the Southwest by Southwest Gaming Awards winners announced, which let's see here. Hey, video game of the year, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. And the others that were nominated is It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. But Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker won. I don't know if I'm breaking news to you, Mister, or not. That I forgot all about the Southwest by Southwest Gaming Awards. I forgot it was even a thing. So I just happened to stumble across it here. The indie game of the year was Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. They even have a tabletop game of the year. Tabletop game of the year, Dune Imperium. I wasn't aware that was even a thing. VR game of the year was Resident Evil 4 VR. Excellence in animation, art, and visual achievement was Forza Horizon 5. Excellence in game design, Inscription. Excellence in original score, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. That's the second award for them. Excellence in narrative, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. Let's see. Excellence in multiplayer, It Takes Two is who won. Audio design, Resident Evil Village. Technical achievement, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And that is the end of the awards. Hey, Colin. How are you, man? So I don't know if I broke any news there for you, Mister. You are the resident Final Fantasy 14 guru, for lack of a better term. So maybe it will bring me joy to be the one to be able to let you know that your game won 3 different awards on the Southwest by Southwest Game Conference. So yeah, Sean, if you have not, so I played Final Fantasy 14, and I enjoyed it considerably. However, I didn't at the time, I didn't want to be committed to a subscription. So I played it for a while, and then I got out of it, and then I wanted to go back in when Endwalker came out. I was thinking about buying Endwalker, and the one frustration I have, and I think Mister will back me up on this, the account management and logging in on Final Fantasy on Square Enix as a whole, but for me, because the only one I have is Final Fantasy 14, is abysmal. I tried for 20 minutes to fucking log in, and it kept putting me in a loop between my account management, my Square Enix account, and my Final Fantasy, and kicking me back out and everything. It's extremely confusing, and I'm not the only one, because I've seen articles and stuff about their software. Just the whole logging in process. I mean, it was a pain in the ass. So um, if they could ever fix that and streamline that and get it to the point where it's easy to get into the damn game, um, yeah, that was my only complaint. Um, but the game itself is a thing of beauty. It's fantastic. I mean, I don't think I encountered one single bug the time I played Final Fantasy 14. The world is beautiful, the music's great. I mean, yeah, it's a work of art. So yeah, I think once, like, if I was able, because I was had been away for a while, Mistra. So of course I automatically got logged out of everything, and had to start from scratch basically. Once you've logged in successfully and you've been in the game and you can make sure you check, log me in automatically or whatever that is, I think then it's easy. But when you've been away for a while and you got to try and reactivate everything, because I needed to download I had taken it off my hard drive. I've uninstalled it, and I needed to reinstall the game, and then also access my account because I was actually gonna re-up for 1 month for 15 bucks. So I had to do that and then log into the game. I had to do all of that, and it was a pain in the ass. So Anthony Couch says, "This is such a clear stream. Anyone else's seems blurry in comparison." Well, it's funny you say that, Anthony. First of all, thank you, but uh, there's a very good reason for that. I believe I was having internet issues last week. I think it was uh, pretty consistent internet issues with it going out and everything. And then there was a particular day we'd had some bad storms, and then there was a particular day where it just went out. The internet went out for a while, and so I logged on through my phone to see what the trouble was, and it said um, there was a technician in our area that was working on something, and whatever that technician did seems to have fixed the overall problem. So I hope that whatever it was, because I have top tier like data. I have first of all, I have unlimited data on my internet, and then I have what is it, uh, 1.2 megabytes per second or whatever. I have the highest level one that they have. So it's because of his HD beard. That's right. Which is we just had another snowstorm. We're supposed to get snow this week sometime. Once the snow is gone, I'm hoping by April we're done with winter. Once that's done, this is getting trimmed back down. I'm getting rid of it for summertime and all that. So, but I'm gonna do some. I'll do a one video at the very end before I'm getting ready to cut it because I see how long it actually got. Um, so, but yeah, this will be going back down to a goatee for summertime. So, I probably got it down to where I'll only have to trim my beard once a year, and I'll probably have my wife shave my head once a year, and that's probably what I'm going to get down to. Anthony says, "Nice. I'm thinking of streaming my channel soon, so I'm checking out streams to see what setups people have." So this Logitech, I don't even remember. I have a couple issues with this Logitech camera. So um, it does not focus well if I need to show, like, let's use this as an example. So let's say this mini here. Now this mini is from Star Wars Galaxies, the collector's edition box from way back in the day. This is actually a Bothan character, but so this pewter miniature, if I want to show it up close, it's not going to show any detail. Even if I put my hand, it'll try to focus on it, and then it'll drop the focus also. See, right now it's not even doing anything. So that's the only problem I have with this Logitech is that it doesn't want to. That's about as good as it's going to get, I think. So that autofocus is the problem I have with that Logitech. And then this one does not have a shutter, so that when you are not streaming, not using your camera, a lot of cameras now have a little. You can just flip a shutter so that basically if someone was to hack if you were to get hacked or something, someone couldn't be recording you without you knowing it. Because you can just, you just close that shutter and then there's no shutter on this. And I thought there was one because I thought they all came with it. Um, so the autofocus on this one is not great, and there's no shutter. So, let's see here. I just bought WWE 2K22, and it's badass. Is that on PC or is that on console, Sean? Mr. says I used to have unlimited data, but was forced to switch to not. My limit is 2 terabytes. Yeah, 2 terabytes is a lot. So yeah, I don't. Um, Now this camera, by the way, is not a 4K streaming camera. That was the one step above. The only reason I got this because my other camera died and I actually had a live scheduled, so I ran out to Best Buy and they had that camera with this Yeti mic. They had that as a package deal together for one price, and I needed both because my microphone sucked and my camera, so I just got both. If I had to do it again, when I do replace this, I'm going with a 4K streaming camera, which will cost more. I'm okay with the mic right now. The mic seems to be pretty good. I like the Yeti mics. I've had one before. This one seems to be an upgrade. So Xbox for WWE. That actually might be fun because I used to watch wrestling way back in the 80s when it was WWF, World Wrestling Federation, and it's always been fake. But back then, I don't think it was as cheesy as it is now. Like now, it's ridiculously cheesy watching wrestling now. But it was always fake. But it was at least for me, it was entertaining, and it actually might be a fun. I could imagine playing that. That might be fun. So, damn, it's already 52 minutes. Golly, the time flies when I'm doing these things. So, we've covered the campaign, which I'll be doing a separate video on. We've talked about the gold box. For anybody that came in later, the D&D gold box games are going to be available on Steam in 2 weeks. They're going to release on Steam, all of them. So you'll be able to, if you loved any of these old gold box games, you'll be able to play those, and it's going to have its own launcher, supposedly, not DOSBox. So that's for anybody that came in later that's interested in that. Mr. says, I think it's a multi-platform title. Who's your favorite? Who was my favorite wrestler? Hacksaw Jim Duggan, probably. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Bam Bam Bigelow. The Ultimate Warrior was for a while. That dude, when the Ultimate Warrior came, now of course we found out that he was roided to the point of brain damage. The guy that played Ultimate Warrior. But when that dude came on the scene, that was ridiculous because he was so roided. I watched that dude like on when he first hit the scene. I watched that dude in one match. He picked up a dude, and he picked the dude up, and the dude was prone. He picks this dude up like this and presses an entire 200+ pound man over his head like that, like you would like a weight bar. You just press the dude. I was like, holy shitballs. That dude was strong. Now, of course, we found out that, he was roided, into the stratosphere, but that's probably why. But, Colin says, my watch alarm just reminded me that your streaming seems to be out of sync by an hour. Could be because of daylight savings time, Colin. Remember the clocks here in America, at least, we had to move our clocks ahead forward um, last night. I don't know if you guys observe where you are in Scotland. I don't know if you guys observe daylight savings time. So that would be why it would be off by an hour. 90s were great. Though I was young to watch. I was too young to watch at the time. Rewatching WF was pretty fun. Yeah, it was entertaining. I mean, I was in Germany as an American in Germany in the army. We only had one English speaking channel, which was Armed Forces Network, and one of the things they would show was wrestling. So I started watching wrestling because it was either that or watch German TV and try and learn German as you're going to try and figure out what they're saying and everything. Which I did do that some, but yeah. Ultimate Warrior's in the new game. I was always a Jimmy the Superfly Snuka. Thank you very much. That was a test, Chupa, wasn't it? That was a test. You were just testing my ass to see if I knew his true name, Jimmy the Superfly Snuka. I passed. WWE does a show called Tribute to the Troops. Oh, that's interesting. Well, they probably know that there's a lot of military that watch wrestling. So there was Jake the Snake. What was his last name? Jake the Snake. He's still around. Yeah. Average Estonian. Daylight savings is mostly worldwide thing because of the farmers, but this is not that bad. Okay. So I don't know if that was what threw Colin's thing off out of sync or not, but yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts. There you go. Yeah, there was and then you had Rowdy Roddy Piper, you had Shawn Michaels, you had let's see. You had the Hart brother, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, I think it was, and Bret Hart, and yeah, I mean, there was a shit ton of them. I love the HBK and Bret Hart rivalry. That felt personal. Who was HBK? There's Honky Tonk Man, HBK. Why am I drawing a blank on HBK? Just a casual fan. Well, not back in the 80s. In the 80s, we watched wrestling every time it came on because, like I said, we only had one channel. So you learned all of the name. Heartbreak Kid. Okay. See, Heartbreak, that might have been after I was no longer in Germany and I wasn't watching it anymore because I don't have any recollection of the Heartbreak Kid. So, yeah. There was Junkyard Dog. There was let's see, who am I forgetting? Of course, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Those were automatics. Everybody knows them. But I'm trying to think of who else I'm forgetting. But the Rockers, the Bushwhackers that did that shit. I think they were Australian. I think they were pretty funny. And then I think that's all the big ones that I remember. Well, going way back, you had George the Animal Steel. George the Animal Steel was the one who would eat the turnbuckles. He'd eat or he wouldn't eat them, but he'd bite the turnbuckles and tear all the stuffing and shit out of them and all that. Chupa says, yeah, AFN showed wrestling and Married with Children when I was stationed in Germany. Yeah. For me, it was the wrestling. If there was football on, it was football season. They always had football on. And then as far as shows went, was it? It might have been Married with Children. I'm trying to remember if there was any other. I just remember there were shows that when I came back that they did not show there, like The Simpsons. I had no idea what The Simpsons was when I came back from Germany, and Simpsons was huge at that point. I had no idea what the fuck it was. My buddy's like, "How do you not know what The Simpsons are?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was in Germany. We only had one channel. I don't think that they didn't show The Simpsons." So, um, well, that was a blast down memory lane there. Damn. Um, who was it that did the figure four leg lock? Was that Jake the Snake? There was somebody that did the figure four leg lock as their signature move, and I can't remember who that was. All right. Well, we're at an hour here, guys. So I didn't ever think we'd get into wrestling on a live stream, but here we are. So Ric Flair. Yeah, good old Ric Flair. He's still around. So what was the guy? There was a guy that had a dollar sign on his belt. $1 million, was it $1 Million Man? Something like that. Something like that. $1 million. He had a mustache, I think. He used to throw money around and shit. I can't remember who that was. That $1 Million. I think it might have been something like $1 Million Man or something like that. Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, I remember that dude. So, all right. So, I think that's gonna do it, guys. Ted DiBiase. There's another one. Was he the $1 Million Man? Was that the same guy? That was, yeah. I think that he was Ted DiBiase, but he was also known as the $1 Million Man. He had the dollar symbols all over everything. Shit. So, all right, I'm gonna head out because it is 2:00 in the afternoon and I haven't eaten anything yet today. I'm fucking starving. I gotta go eat. The time change screwed me all up. So, all right, guys. So either later today or tomorrow, I got to do the campaign update on our adventures back here from Friday night. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, I put out a bunch of tweets from the game and everything while we were gaming. Oh, that's the other thing. I'll do this real quick. Somebody asked about live streaming and everything. I talked to everybody. I want to get their buy-in because they're going to be on camera too. They're not a big fan of the live streaming idea. They have no problem with me recording it like with my phone for like, half an hour or something like that, and then just uploading that as a video. But as far as it, like where we would live stream it, where we'd have a chat and all that, where we'd have to be like trying to pay attention to the chat, and while we're playing, they're not a fan of that because they don't want to take away from the game, which I kind of agree with that. So, so what we'll probably end up doing is I'll probably just do video with my phone of our sessions, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that, and I'll just be uploading that, when we play at the table. Maybe I'll get a little like tripod for my phone to just set up or something. I'll probably set it up like right here, pointing it at the table or whatever. But that's what we're going to do. I think that's the way we're going to go. Okay. So I hope everybody's okay with that. But I did tweet out some stuff and I didn't have one go viral, let's say, but I had one that got quite a bit of, like, it's going close to 200 likes and a bunch of retweets and all that. Because I posted pictures of the game and all that stuff. So if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, Greyhawk at Greyhawk4x4 on Twitter. And by the way, on all social media, it's always Greyhawk4x4 is my handle. So you can find me on anything. But Twitter specifically, yeah, if you're not already following me, you might want to. So, all right, guys, I got to head out. I'm going to go get something to eat. We will catch you guys on the flip side.